Welcome. This is Dr. Jim Polakof with a special podcast report. Are you aware that suicide is the #1 leading cause of death in the United States? According to the CDC, there is one death by suicide every 11 minutes. This doesn't count the 3.2 million people per year who plan to commit suicide. Before we discuss solutions, I want to share with you a CBS interview with Wynonna Judd. And it's about her mother, Naomi Judd, and the celebrity's suicidal death. Very unfortunate death. Back in April, Wynonna and her sister, Ashley Judd, made a joint statement. They said, "Today we are sisters who experienced a tragedy. We lost our beautiful mother to the disease of mental illness." But before we get too deeply into the Judd story, I want to emphasize that mental illness is not the only cause of suicide. Of course, 46% of the people who die by suicide had a mental health condition. But there are many other causes that we need to be aware of. Bullying, for example, is a leading trigger as of late, particularly among teenagers. Then there's job loss or financial problems, which rank very high. And we should include violence victimization, people who are victims of violence. And then there's chronic pain, social isolation, and substance abuse. These are all additional culprits. Plus, we shouldn't leave out a lack of access to health care, which is a concern to many people and triggers suicide. There's discrimination of all types. And then there's that never-ending stream of violence on television, which causes many people to want to leave this troubled world behind. However, in this episode, we're going to focus on mental illness. So let's get back to the Judds. Wynonna and Naomi Judd rose to stardom in country music, and they became absolutely huge.
Haired hillbillies from Kentucky. And way back when, they were.
Sing along. Mama, he's crazy.
But performing together as the Judds in the 1980s, they became one of the most successful country music duos in history.
And wanna be when the nights get cold. Wanna be when you don't know. Wanna be.
We're just very ordinary girls, and I think something extraordinary is happening to us.
And this woman right here, I mean, she's been a single parent since I was 8, has some pretty big dreams.
Love is really fall in love instead. Stand beside each other.
The Judds sold more than 20 million albums, had 14 #1 singles, and won 5 Grammy Awards.
It was a halo sent down from heaven.
Their voices blended so perfectly, like the twin strands of their shared DNA.
There's nothing like family harmony. And sometimes the only harmony we had was in music.
River of time.
But it wasn't all honey and roses. Wynonna and Naomi Judd had a very challenging relationship.
For as much as they complemented each other on stage, often the chords of their mother-daughter partnership seemed rarely in tune.
We were incredibly close, and then she'd get mad at me, and why did you do that? And then we'd not get along and be disconnected, then we'd come back together and hug and cry. It was incredibly complicated. We tried really hard, and those are the tears, because I know that we tried. And we did pretty damn good. Most of the time.
Love and only love.
Things smoothed out a bit when Naomi retired from the Judds after being diagnosed with hepatitis C. But fans still demanded reunions.
Love can build every.
The most recent was this past April at the CMT Music Awards in Nashville.
We can do anything.
It was the Judds at their best. Big hair, a big stage, and a big choir. But it would be the last time that they would ever perform together.
I got the call and I went over and I saw her and I said goodbye to her in the hospital, and I closed her eyes and I kissed her forehead, and that was that. And next thing I know, I'm sitting here on the side porch and I'm just trying to figure out what's next.
After a long and public battle with depression, Naomi Judd took her own life at the age of 76. The next day, the Judds were inducted into the Country Music Hall of Fame.
I did not know that she was at the place she was at when she ended it, because she had had episodes before and she got better.
My mission in this special podcast is to share with my listeners the warning signs which can alert each of you to suicide in the making. Bear with me, it's a long list, but some of them may really surprise you. Excessive worries and fear, feeling excessively sad or low, being confused in your thinking or problems concentrating or learning things. Suicide also can result from extreme mood changes, including uncontrollable highs and feelings of euphoria. Prolonged or strong feelings of irritability and anger. Avoiding friends and social activities. Another contributor to suicide are difficulties in understanding and relating to other people. Also, changes in sleeping habits and feeling tired and having low energy have caused people to obviously find another solution, which is suicide. Changing in eating habits, such as increased hunger or lack of appetite. Changes in sex drive. Difficulty in perceiving reality, such as delusions and hallucinations, in which a person experiences or senses things that aren't in the objective reality of life. Some people have an inability to perceive changes in one's own feelings, behavior, or personality problems. And then there's overuse of substances like alcohol and drugs, which have led to suicide. Multiple physical ailments, which obvious causes, like headaches and stomach aches and vague and ongoing aches and pains. Yes, that can contribute as well. Inability to carry out daily activities or handle problems and stress. And an intense fear of weight gain or a concern with appearance has also led people to commit suicide. These are all warning signs. Some of them may be surprising. Some of them may seem modest in comparison to mental illness, but they are contributors towards suicide. Mental health conditions may also be able to develop in young children because they're still learning how to identify and talk about thoughts and emotions. Their most obvious symptoms are behavioral. Symptoms in children could include the following: changes in school performance, excessive worry or anxiety, fighting to avoid bed or school, hyperactive behavior, frequent nightmares, frequent disobedience or aggression, and frequent temper tantrums. These are all warning signs in children that you should watch out for. Yes, it could be your spouse, your child, parent, loved one, friend, business acquaintance, or even your neighbor. So what can you do to help? I suggest you contact the National Alliance for Mental Illness and their helpline. Their number will be published on our website, jamespolakof.com. But here it is. Take a moment to write this helpline number down. 800-950-6264. Again, that's 800-950-6264. Or you can go to their website, NAMI.org. That's NAMI.org. Again, the National Alliance on Mental Illness, their contact number, valuable suicide information will be published on our website, jamespolakof.com. That's James, Polakof.com. The special suicide podcast report has been brought to you as a public service. Please don't take it lightly. It's you who may save a life. This is Jim Polakof. I wish to thank you for listening.